All right. So, are you ready? We're in a new decade, the best movies of 2010. Are you ready?
Yes,
Getting closer and closer to modern day.
I know. Then what are we going to do? We're going to go back to like the 50s or something?
We could. And well, we've done, didn't we do 50s already? I think we did as the decade. We still got to do the 30s and the 20s. And then of course we can go back to actors, directors. We'll
I
never
know.
end.
I, well, yeah, but I mean, we've probably done most of the movies now at even though
Yeah.
we didn't do actors, we
Well, yeah,
probably,
there will be a lot of repetition, but
there'll be a lot of repetitions, right? So, yeah, we'll probably, but those ones are going to be tough because we
yeah,
weren't around for those movies.
right. But the 2010s we were definitely around for. So
Yeah, we were.
yeah, this was an interesting year because
A
I
very interesting year.
I would say it wasn't really a great year for movies, but you may disagree. I don't know.
Uh, no, I wouldn't say that there was like a bunch of great movies.
Hmm.
There was a bunch of okay movies,
Yeah.
uh, but then a bunch of crappy movies too. But
Yes. Yeah,
but
this decade you start to see kind of a decline in general, but then also you start to see a huge incline in like Marvel movies and Pixar and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, and actually, I'm sure none of us did uh, cartoons this year, but
Yeah.
the top grossing films
Hmm.
this year. Uh, I,
Were
I think like
kids movies.
six
Yeah.
of them were like cartoons. Toy Story had $1.06 billion.
Right. Yeah.
That's Toy Story #3, which a lot of people say is the best Toy Story movie.
Yeah.
Uh, Alice in Wonderland, also Disney, was $1.02 billion. The
Yeah.
first time two cartoons ever hit the billion mark in the same year.
Wow. Yeah.
Shrek Forever was $752 million.
Crazy, man.
Tangled
Well,
was $592 million.
yeah.
Despicable Me, $543 million.
Ooh, I know you like that one.
How, How to Train, and that didn't even make my list either. How to
Okay.
Train Your Dragon, 494
Man,
million.
that's a lot of kids movies in one year. So
Yeah,
I'll go ahead and say Toy Story 3 is my honorable mention
okay.
to get that out of the way, but
Right.
which I don't think they kind of all blend together for me. I know a lot of people that love those movies will say that's like sacrilege, but I like the first one the best, I think.
Well, I think the
So,
parents are forced. The thing is, the movies are clever.
yeah,
Uh, you know, they are for adults and for kids.
right,
The kids don't get the jokes and stuff, but the
right.
adults do. So that's why it's geared for like both of them. But I mean, I only watch it if like one of the kids, the grandkids, was watching it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh yeah, I think Pixar at this point, they've I think they've over the years they've realized how much adults get into it, and now the movies they're making are almost geared half and half, like for adults and kids. But
yeah.
Toy Story out of the gate was like for the mind of a kid, but with a lot of adult humor mixed in. But yeah, so you want to start us off with your number five this time?
Okay, my number five is The Social Network.
I have that higher actually.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Yes,
good choice.
yes. How to Be an Asshole and Make Millions of Dollars. Basically, the movie. No, it was a really
Yeah,
good movie. It was put together really good. It did tell the story of of Mark Zuckerberg and the start of Facebook when he was at Harvard University.
Yes. Directed by David Fincher.
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg plays Zuckerberg, who he was perfect in that role, and then
Yeah. And,
Timberlake was great too in that.
Yeah, Timberlake was the Napster guy, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. I didn't realize how much the Napster guy played in getting Facebook.
Yeah.
To,
It's definitely an interesting story of how Facebook started, and obviously, yeah, like like you said, the opening line that you said, there's so much narcissism involved, and like stabbing people in the back. Andrew Garfield, one of his first movies, playing his best friend who ends up, suing him
in the back.
Yeah.
That's not literally, that's figuratively.
Yeah.
But he screwed him, and how he screwed the rich guys at
the Winklevoss twins, or
Winklevoss.
they were both played by the same actor, and then they doubled him or whatever. But that was really cool.
They were on the crew team and stuff like that. But I mean, it was basically, I mean, even the opening scene where he's sitting in a restaurant, with this girl, and he's like, and so then she breaks up with him, and then he goes, and then he just like rips her to shreds on the internet.
And that was the impetus for Facebook, because what was it called, like Face Smash or something, where it starts out where the whole thing was based on,
they compare two girls, and then they pick which one they like the best and stuff like that. Yeah, so
exactly.
It started out as like a fun thing, and then it progressed into the social network.
Right. Yeah. But so well done, really well directed and written. I think Aaron Sorkin wrote it, or I could be wrong on that, but and the music also, the soundtrack was great. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who have gone on to do a lot of soundtracks after that. But great pick. Okay, so my number 5 is a Will Ferrell movie. Had to get it out of the way. The Other Guys, which stars Will Ferrell and Marky Mark. Mark, I can't think of the name because now I have Zuckerberg in my head. But anyway, directed by Adam McKay, and it's kind of like an action movie comedy, but more of a comedy. It's of course ridiculous because Will Ferrell, is in it, but it also has one of my favorite things of any comedy movie in the last 10 years. In the beginning, Samuel Jackson and The Rock, I believe, play this action duo, and they're chasing these guys, and then they decide to jump off of a building to try to catch them, and they fall to their death like within the first 5 minutes of the movie. And it's so stupid. And
it should have ended there.
Yeah, and he goes, aim for the bushes, and they jump off and die. And anyway, but yeah, it's great. It's killing me now. What is Marky Mark's last name? You know who I'm talking about, right?
No.
Okay. He's in, Boogie Nights and The Departed, and Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was getting mixed up, because it was a Mark and a Berg on the end. So, okay. But yeah, The Other Guys, it's a fun movie that you'll probably never see. But yeah, that's my number 5. What's your number 4?
My number 4 was Inception.
Okay. I don't have this on my list. I get why a lot of people love it, but I don't know. It's just like too much for me, man. Not just the length, but
that's why it's one of the movies that I keep watching, because I'm trying to figure this stupid thing out.
Yeah, like layers
Yeah.
upon layers
And
of
I've been waiting for a sequel to find out what the ending really is, because
yeah.
you couldn't tell. It would, the spinning thing was like wavering, and then they cut it off.
Yeah, by the end of it, I was just so like lost that I almost didn't care what was happening.
Yes, Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Levitt. Hmm.
Elliot, formerly Ellen Page,
Uh-huh.
Tom Hardy, Ken Watanabe, and Dalib Rayal. But
And
it was,
Marion Cotillard was played his wife, right? That
yeah.
yeah.
But it's one of those movies that you have to constantly pay attention to it.
Yes.
I mean, great special effects.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's like basically I would call it a Christopher Nolan movie on steroids, which is what
yeah.
it is.
I mean, a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't. How many layers with the last thing did they actually go through?
Yeah, I don't even know, man.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, amazing, especially the special effects,
Yeah,
which at the time were kind of ahead of its time and all that.
yeah.
But
But I
um,
mean, and it's also was a great concept for a movie. I
oh
mean, it's
yeah,
something that's completely different.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And of course, DiCaprio is great as always. But yeah, Nolan, he can sometimes get way too cerebral, where it's like, I don't even know, man. I mean, he's a great director, and that sometimes it just gets like too much to enjoy. So I didn't have it on my list, but that's another good pick. So my number four.
and it also made $826 million. It was one of the few movies that wasn't a cartoon that was on the top
Yeah,
grossing list.
of course. Yeah. So my number four, I don't think it grossed a lot, or I don't think a lot of people even saw this for some reason, but it's the Book of Eli.
Yes, I saw it when it first came out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a strange movie. It
Yes.
was post-apocalyptic.
Hmm. Yeah. Post-apocalyptic, and also a little bit of like, it's almost like they took a little bit of all these different things that were becoming popular at the time, which I don't know how many post-apocalyptic movies were out at this time, but also a little bit of like zombie type stuff, because there were like flesh-eating people in this movie. And but Denzel Washington plays the lead role of a blind guy who is somehow able to also like kick some serious ass. And so that's kind of outrageous, but also cool. And Gary Oldman, who you always want as a villain, plays the villain, so that's good. And Mila Kunis is pretty cool in the movie as well. So, and it has a cool look to it too. It's not black and white, but it's like sepia tone throughout. So it almost feels a little bit like a western sometimes, like when in these dusty towns that they're in and all that. And the whole crux of the movie is like the bad guys want this book that you're not quite sure what the book is, until like towards the end you're like, oh, okay, that's what it is. But I won't give it away. But the ending is kind of cool, how it's revealed that Washington, being blind, has memorized this book, which is pretty cool. So, of course, I'm a sucker for almost anything Denzel does, and he's great in this and pretty much carries the movie. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay, good.
So, not on your list, I take it.
Now, to me, it was like one of those okay movies.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely not. As far as Denzel movies go, I don't even think it would make my top five, but for 2010, it made it. So, so,
Okay.
so what's your number three?
My number three is Iron Man.
Iron Man 2, right?
Yes, Iron Man 2.
Okay.
And it grossed 623 million.
Yeah.
This one was kind of different than the first one. It
Right.
was a little silly in parts.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's celebrating his birthday, dressed in the Iron Man costume, and boogieing, and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But it all started. It also started introducing Avenger characters,
That's true. Yeah.
specifically Black Widow.
Right. Right.
And it was interesting how they had her in the movie because she was like watching Stark whether or not to bring him into the special agency thing.
Yeah.
And so she was like playing a secretary working in his company and stuff.
Right. Right. And Samuel Jackson is introduced in this one, right, as well.
Yeah, well, he was introduced at the end of the first one,
Oh, that's
in
right.
the what do you call it, the Easter egg part after all the
Mm-hmm.
credits and stuff like that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So yeah, and so but she made the movie a lot more interesting
Yeah.
because she did a lot of her scene fighting, with her legs and wiping out like 20 guys,
Yeah.
she's going down the hallway and stuff like that.
Is this the one where Mickey Rourke was the villain, I think?
Yeah, Mickey Rourke was the villain,
Yeah, he was
where
good.
he duplicated the energy thing, and
Right.
then he had it tied to like these electric whips.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, and he's standing in the middle of the Formula One car racing thing, and
Mm-hmm.
just like chopping the cars in half and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool. I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah. It was a great action movie. A lot of fun to watch.
Yep. Yep. It's so not quite to the Avengers yet, but almost there, I guess, at
We're
this point.
getting there, and
Yeah.
the Easter egg at the end, they
Mm-hmm.
showed Thor's hammer.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah,
They really planned a lot in advance.
so we know what the next one's gonna be.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Well, I see where your lists are going to be going in the near future as well. So my number three is
It's still not Will Ferrell.
yeah. Yeah, don't worry. I won't have as much Will Ferrell going forward. So I don't think so anyway. But anyway, but my next one is a comedy, and it's Due Date.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
But this
Actually,
one,
that one is not bad.
because it has Robert Downey Jr. Right? He had another good year here with multiple films. So Downey Jr. plays more of the straight guy in this, and Zach Galifianakis from The Hangover plays essentially himself from The Hangover again, playing this just super annoying character that it's this road trip buddy comedy kind of thing, where they have to get back for Downey Jr.'s wife is having a baby and he's trying to get back in time, and Galifianakis is just so ridiculous with his little dog and his father's remains in a coffee thing, which is a hilarious just ongoing thing in this movie where eventually they do accidentally drink the remains of his father. That's one of the best scenes of the movie. But Jamie Foxx has a cameo, and it's great throughout some of the stuff that ends up happening where they where the cops are after him and they're in Mexico, and it gets really crazy, but really funny movie. So you saw it?
Speaking of cameos, it just reminded me too. There was a cameo in the Zuckerberg movie.
Social Network?
Yeah,
Of who?
Elon Musk.
Really? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Like the real Elon Musk or someone playing him?
yeah, the real Elon Musk.
Where was this?
There was a party.
Ah, okay. And he
Yeah,
just shows up for like a second or
but he
something.
was in the party already, and it was like Napster guy like introduced him to
Okay.
Musk.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it in a while, so I'll have
Yeah,
to look for that next time. Very cool. All right. So what is your number two?
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part One.
Oh my
We're getting
God.
close to the end.
Please tell me. So this one is a two-parter. So there will be a
Yes,
part two coming soon.
yes, there will be a part two coming soon.
All
And
right.
then that's the end of the series until they start making the prequels.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh God.
So you always start these off telling me how old they are at this point. How old are
Yeah,
they?
they're about the same, like 18, 19.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And this one was kind of different than all the other ones.
Yes.
It's just like the three main characters, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, where they're trying to help Harry find these artifacts
Mm-hmm.
that, belong to our bad guy. And they figure that if they can destroy these, they can weaken him.
Yeah.
And then they can defeat him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically what the movie was. And then it turns out that Ron leaves them at one point, and it's basically Harry and Hermione. So you can
Mm-hmm.
see that they're basically really good friends, and there's really nothing romantic between them.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ron falls in love with Hermione, and they were like, a pair, but they were a pair like in the previous one
I
also.
see.
So when he comes back, the relationship is re-cemented and stuff.
All right.
So it's getting to be like more romance in the movies also.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just glad you didn't put it as your number one this time.
No, because we know what your number one is.
Do we? Okay.
Oh, we're
Well,
not yet, because you haven't given the number two.
so my number two is The Social Network.
Ah, okay. So then we
So
don't know what your number one is yet.
yes. So what's your number one?
My number one is, drum roll,
Yes.
The King's Speech.
I never saw this somehow.
I know you. Yeah, I know. And I've said that I've talked about this, other times. I guess when we did, the 2000s or whatever.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the crazy. So this won the Academy Award, right?
Yes, and it's one of the few times that I actually agreed with the Academy Award.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, give me your synopsis of this one.
Okay. Colin Firth,
Mhm.
Joffrey Rush. He plays the speech trainer.
Mhm.
Helena Bonham Carter plays Elizabeth,
Mhm.
and it takes place after his brother abdicated,
Mhm.
and now he has to become king. But the problem is they has this unbelievable stuttering problem,
Right.
and to be able to give the speech, uh, and to help be able to for Britain to fight the war,
Mhm.
he has to be able to portray that he knows what he's doing. He's leading the country, so he's not like stumbling like when he's talking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he hires this speech trainer, played by Joffrey Rush, and you know he helps them really a lot, and they go through like all the stages, and when he was giving a speech, he would uh, he would have pauses indicated where he should stop in the speech.
Okay.
So it made it look like he wasn't stumbling, and stuff like that.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll have to finally get around to this movie one of these days. It seemed like a boring premise to me that I don't know, but somehow they made it interesting, obviously.
Yeah, very interesting. And I like history, and that's probably why it's my number one,
Yeah.
over the other movies and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, obviously that is not my number one, but
I didn't
my,
think it was.
mine is Shutter Island,
Ah,
directed by Martin Scorsese.
that was my honorable mention.
Oh, okay, cool. So Leonardo DiCaprio, this was now I think the third movie he made with Scorsese at this point, and this one's a thriller, almost borderline horror movie, in the style.
It was an interesting concept.
Yeah.
He comes on the island with his second in command.
Mark
they're both-
Ruffalo. Yep.
Yeah, they're both marshals,
Yes.
and there's a missing inmate on
Yeah.
the island.
So it starts off as kind of like this murder mystery, or a mystery of trying to find this missing person. But as it goes on, there's things being revealed to where and you can kind of, as it's getting closer to the end, see where it's going, but you don't know exactly how it's going to get there. But
Yeah, I mean, it also has like an interesting, like how the psychiatrists practice, how they have things set up.
Who's played by Ben Kingsley.
Yes.
So many great actors in this movie. Even like the smaller roles, like Max von Sydow plays another psychiatrist in the movie. Some of the actors' names I don't know, but you see them in other movies, and you're like, oh, it's that guy from Fargo or whatever. But yeah, and Scorsese is just a master, and you can tell like this was his kind of take on like a Hitchcock movie, basically.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, you got to watch the movie. I mean, if we say anything, it would like give the thing away.
Yeah, you can't give it away, but DiCaprio, I think, and this is saying something, I think it's one of his best performances, because he's got a lot to work with on this, a lot of emotional things, and that come to light, and it's like, oh my God. Just terrible. And there's also even some references to some, him being in World War II, and some flashback scenes that are pretty creepy.
Right, his wife dying in a fire.
Yeah, right. So
he's got some baggage.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, so great one. So I just looked up, that has a 4.0 and King's Speech only has a 3.7. So I win for number one this time.
Finally.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while. But cool. So Shutter Island at 1, King's Speech at 2. Then Social Network will have to be 3, because it's my 2 and we both had it. So that beats out your 2.
And it would still win by points.
Oh, okay. You checked it out already?
Well, I know Plotter's at 3.7. And
Okay.
I think Social Network is 3.9.
Oh, okay, sweet. So now it's dueling out at number 5. It's either going to be Iron Man 2 or Due Date.
Due Date might win this.
It's possible. No, Due Date only has a 2.8, believe it or not.
And it loses by one 0.1 points.
Wow. This is probably one of the first years where we have a movie that is below a 3 making it then.
I know.
But like I said, I wouldn't say it's like a weak year in movies, but I had personally a lot going on that year, so I didn't see a lot of movies. But like King's Speech, for example. But yeah, it seemed like there were just, that core few that stood out from the rest.
Well, it
So
was all these cartoons
yeah,
that,
yeah,
that everybody was going to see. I mean, with these outrageously high grosses.
yeah.
The only other ones that I thought might have been interesting too was the Twilight Saga Eclipse,
Okay.
uh, Black Swan, you said Book of Eli, Robin Hood, Salt, Secretariat about the story of Secretariat, one of the best Triple Crown winners of all time.
Right.
I remember watching that live.
Wow.
That race at the Belmont, that final race where he won like about 20 lengths. It
Yeah.
was like really, really amazing.
That's cool.
Winter's Bone was really good too. True Grit. That's
Oh,
it.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the
Cool.
second True Grit, not the one with the Duke.
Right, right. This one was Jeff Bridges and
Yeah.
Coen Brothers directed. Yeah. Very good. All right. Well, let's read it off then. So the top 5 movies of 2010, according to 3 and 4, are at number 5, Iron Man 2. At number 4, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. At number 3, The Social Network. At number 2, The King's Speech. And at number 1, Shutter Island. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Shutter Island is interesting because it seems like some people love it and some people really hate it. Like Mark is in the hate it camp, believe it or not.
Well, the thing is, like, once you see it the first time,
yeah,
it's not like it's a repeat type movie where you'd want to watch it again.
yeah, I could see that because of the
You
big
know,
reveal and everything. But
like the one that I had like way down, the other DiCaprio movie, Inception. It's watchable multiple times because there's so many things going on.
yeah,
That you almost have to watch it again, try to see things that you didn't see.
right. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's
Yeah,
like watching the Matrix movies. There's
right.
so much things going on.
Yeah, exactly. Shutter Island, I have seen a couple times, and I still like it just as much on repeat viewing. But yeah, definitely those kind of movies that have like,
well, even with that one, it's like, like you watch it the second time and you go, why didn't I see that the first time?
Yeah,
So that I could catch what was going on.
exactly.
I should have been able to catch it earlier.
Right.
What was going on?
Yeah, indeed. So cool. All right. Well, good list though. 2011 is going to be our next one, so stay tuned for that. And
we're getting closer and closer.
yeah, and if you like this and you want to binge watch, we've started way back in 1975, and technically even before then because we were doing decades for back through the 40s, I believe. So man, we're like over 60 episodes in at this point. So come on, people, subscribe and like and stuff.
That's right. More than a year we've been doing this podcast.
Yeah, it'll be 2 years in May, I think.
Brought to you by COVID-19.
Yeah, exactly. Which who knows when it'll end, but yeah, we'll keep going. So all right, we'll see.
Maybe it's our fault. Maybe we're keeping it alive.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. Those damn 3 and 4. Oh well. Love you.
Love you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.